Hello everyone. The CS results have recently released, and a lot of you have cleared your CS executive exams and proceeding towards your CS professional examinations. A lot of you may have a lot of questions about your CS professional examinations. So, this is a short video on the syllabus you are to explore for your CS professional examinations, so that you may be able to plan it well as to whether you should give one group or all the groups together, whether you should take tuitions or go for self study, and things like that. So, without wasting any further time, I'll start directly with the contents. So the basic structure is that the exams are divided into three groups, three modules. Each module has three papers, and two of the papers are open book examinations. Now, starting with the very first module, the first paper is governance, risk management, compliances, and ethics. Now, this paper is divided into four parts. The governance part deals with total of 50 marks. For compliance, risk management, and ethics, it is divided as 20, 20, and 10. So the remaining 50 marks here. Now, a lot of you will ask about the study strategy. So, what I had practiced during my time was that I had covered the remaining 50 marks, that is risk management, compliance, and ethics first, and thereafter I moved to the governance part. Since the governance part is basically dealing with the board processes, the board composition, the practices that are prevalent outside India, and the practices that are prevalent in India or suggested by various committees to be practiced in India. So it is basically more of a theoretical paper. The risk management part, the 20 marks part, that is quite easy. The compliance part, this we will be discussing further, that there is another paper in CS professional examination where you will be dealing with the same part. Same goes for ethics, and it is a 10 marks part, and it's a very easy part. So this goes for governance paper. Next paper is advanced tax laws, which is again a 100 marks paper, which is divided into 70 marks for indirect tax, where 60 marks is for GST and 10 marks is for customs, and the remaining 30 marks is for direct tax and international tax, where international tax gains the majority portion, and indirect tax part also you'll get to see more of a theory part, the tax treaties and things like that. So tax paper in our CS professional examinations are very easy. Mostly you need to deal with the GST portion. If you have completed your GST portion really well, then you need not think twice about whether I'll be able to pass my CS professional exams or not for the tax paper. Next paper is the drafting, pleading, and appearances. Now, since the paper is a drafting, pleading, and appearances, people have a notion that it will comprise mainly of the drafting part, which is wrong. In our drafting paper as well, there is a lot of theory, there is a lot of legal or regulatory framework related things that we need to study. So again, drafting is a very theoretical paper where, of course, the maximum portion, I would rather say it's a 50-50 paper, where a part of it is legal drafting, most of it is drafting related to the company matters, for example agenda, notice, board resolutions, and things like that. But of course, it also includes things like agreements or petitions, affidavits. So that is a new part which needs to be dealt with properly by the students. So this goes for the group 1 paper. Now you may ask whether the group 1 papers require me to take tuitions or whether I'll be able to do it through self-study. So this depends on what is your method of studying. If you need someone to push yourself and say, pado, then you'll definitely need a teacher. Otherwise, in group 1, except tax, most of it is theoretical, most of it is based on constant reading and understanding, and it is not very much core conceptual things that you will need a teacher to make you understand. So this is completely based on my experience, and the rest depends upon you. Moving further with the second group, the first paper is secretarial audit, compliance management, and due diligence. Now this paper is again divided into two parts. Compliance management portion is of 40 marks, and secretarial audit and due diligence is of 60 marks. where mostly it is seen that the due diligence part counts for around 20 marks, and the remaining is for secretarial audit, that is 40 marks. Now, as I have already told, this compliance management is similar to the compliances in your first paper of governance. So 20 plus 40, what you are studying is effectively for 60 marks. So that is one thing. The next is for secretarial audit part. Most of it is compliances of various laws, because what do you understand by secretarial audit? Here basically you need to learn that what are the things you will need to check while you do secretarial audit. So most of it is compliances under various laws. So this is again a very easy paper. Next, moving towards the next paper, which is corporate restructuring, insolvency, liquidation and winding up. Here, first part, corporate restructuring, is of 50 marks, and the remaining insolvency, liquidation and winding up is of 50 marks. The corporate restructuring part, it mainly comprises of your mergers, takeovers. So here you will deal with the compromise, arrangement and amalgamation chapter, which you have already done in your company law at the time of CS executive. Then you will be dealing with the SST regulations, that is substantial acquisition and takeover regulations, which also you have done during your CS executive in SLCM paper. So this is a very easy part. Next, coming to the next part, which is insolvency, liquidation and winding up. Here you will be dealing with the IBC 2016, Insolvency Bank and Bankruptcy Code 2016 in full, which you had done just a portion in CS executive. The same goes for winding up provisions of Companies Act, which, so far as I can recall, there were only 5 or 6 sections in our CS executive, but here at this point of time for CS professional exams you will be dealing with the whole chunk of winding up provisions, which is around 99 to 100 sections. Next, moving on with paper 6, resolution of corporate dispute, non-compliances and remedies. This is a very practical paper, mostly based on case laws. Here you will be discussing the different decided judgments of the past to derive whether the case law demands you to, whether the case law makes you fall into certain non-compliances or not. Then the next thing is, here you'll be dealing with what can be the remedies if you have fall prey to any non-compliances. So this paper is again this is a very important paper, I would say, because this is the paper for which I was afraid during my exams that whether I'll pass or not, but I managed to pass somehow. However, this paper comprises of all the topics or all the regulatory authorities that you have learned. For example, it comprises of SEBI, it comprises of FEMA provisions, it comprises of RBI provisions. Companies Act is definitely a part. There is IPC, there is your CRPC. So everything. This paper is basically a summation of anything and everything that you have studied till now. So here we go for module 2. This group 2 or module 2 is very important and very crucial group to clear. If you are able to clear this group well, then you can clear any of the groups. Next, moving on with the third group, in which 2 of the papers are open book examinations, which are quite easy, and the next one is corporate funding and listing in stock exchanges, which is again a very easy paper. This corporate funding and listing in stock exchanges is again divided into 2 parts, corporate funding and listing. Corporate funding is of 60 marks, whereas listing in stock exchanges is of 40 marks. Now, in this 40 marks, listing in stock exchanges, mostly 30 or 35 marks comprises of the LODR provisions, and the remaining is some general questions on listing or listing in foreign regulations. So this goes for the listing part. Regarding the corporate funding part, the funding part mostly comprises of how a company will be able to raise funds for its business. So ICDR we have already studied in executive. It comprises of ICDR, it comprises of regulations on non-convertible debt instruments, non-convertible preference shares. It comprises of REITs and InvITs, which people from old syllabus have already done in their CS executive. However, for new syllabus students, this is a new thing. However, this is a very easy part. So that was all for the paper 7. Next is paper 8, which is multidisciplinary case studies. This is an open book examination, and mostly it is seen that people do not open their books before examination. However, this is not a correct approach. You will also get the videos of various renowned teachers who will be dealing with how to approach this paper. The basic or the most easiest thing that you can do is that you should take consideration of this paper daily. Take 2 or 3 case studies, if not 10, and start making notes, because during examinations you won't be getting a time to scroll down through 500 pages. It is not a computer, and you won't be able to do search through Control F. So basically you should start doing it. If you start doing it immediately, this paper is no risk. This paper has no hazards at all. Next, going to the 9th paper, which is an elective paper, but it is generally seen that people select the insolvency law and practice paper, mostly because you are already dealing with insolvency law in your 5th paper, which is corporate restructuring, insolvency, liquidation, and winding up. So this is exactly the same. So while you are studying for group 2, you are studying for 50 marks. While you study for group 3 as well, you are studying for 150 marks, the same topic. So having said that, it is generally recommended to give group 2 and group 3 at least together, because various contents are similar. So it is very easy. It becomes very easier to deal with them together. However, it is always upon your discretion to decide. One more question which people generally ask is which teacher to go for. So no teacher is best teacher in the world. You understand, every student has different demands, and teachers fit in according to the different demands. Otherwise there would have been only one teacher. But there are so many tuition classes, there are so many teachers, and all of them are very renowned in their fields. So choose wisely, think what is your requirement, which teacher is fitting into it. How to check? Go for YouTube videos, you'll find a lot of videos there, and make right decision for yourself. This was it for today. If you have any doubts and you want me to make videos on that, you may comment it below. Thank you.